Attention Austin guitar players and bass players. Are you in need of setup or repair on your axe? Well, I have the guy for you, gang. That's Jason Swedberg over at J. Scott Luthery, and you can find him at J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Now, if you listen to the show, you know I've been talking about Jason for years. Why is that? Because I've been taking my guitars to Jason for over 20 years. Not only does he do the best job, but he has the best prices and the fastest service in town. Again, find him at J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Not only is he doing an amazing job repairing and setting up guitars, he is now building guitars. That's right. He built me an SG Junior, which I have, and it sounds amazing. It feels great. It's the very first SG Junior he ever built. I've got a J. Scott Luthery SG Junior. You can go see him at J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Get a guitar built. Get your guitars fixed. Get them set up. It's time, man. They've been hanging on the wall all through COVID. Now it's time to get them out, get them fixed, and get out there and play. J. Scott Luthery on Instagram. Let's get down. Hey gang, we all know Spotify has become the ultimate app destination for music lovers. I have an account and I love it. I find new music by following Tastemaker playlists, and I make my own playlist that I share featuring music from guests that have been on the show. But did you know that aside from millions of songs, Spotify now has all of your favorite podcasts, including How Did I Get Here? Yes, all of your podcasts are available on Spotify. Just go to Spotify.com or download the app from your app store, and don't forget to follow How Did I Get Here? That's Spotify. Millions of songs, thousands of podcasts. Let's get down.
And you may ask yourself, well, how did I get here?
It's time for How Did I Get Here? And now here is your host,
All right. Hello, I'm Johnny. I'm your host. Welcome to the show. I hope you guys all had a good weekend, whatever it is you did this weekend. Maybe you attended the Austin City Limits Music Festival 2021. We're back in festival land, baby. They're back open. They're doing it. Hopefully you had a good time and you're safe. I'm actually doing this on Saturday afternoon since the show's dropping on Monday. As I have a busy Sunday, I'm playing a show over at Far Out Lounge. It will have already happened. But also going to dinner with some friends. But this afternoon, I'm actually going to go see Go Fever. They're doing an in-store. I was going to go see their record release last night at the Continental Club. But my back is jacked up, or has been jacked up all week. It's been weird. This doesn't normally happen to me. I have a shoulder thing. That's a recurring thing. And I can maintain it through massage, through stretching, through lifting weights. But this lower back thing that happened earlier this week knocked me out of the game, man. It sucked. It did it twice. Friday, I felt terrible too yesterday. Today, I'm feeling a little better. I'm going to go sit. I'm going to stand. I'm going to go home and lay down if I have to, because it is a little weird. And the only sort of like place I could get without pain was like lying down. So that happened. Anyway, I hope you guys all had a good weekend, whatever it is you're doing. Maybe you saw music. I have a great big show for you guys today, gang. A great big show. Songwriter, singer, guitarist, Sue Foley is on the show today. Her brand new album, Pinky's Blues, drops October 22nd. Amazing album produced by the wonderful Mr. Mike Flanigin. Features Chris Layton on drums, Jon Penner on bass. This record is absolutely fantastic. There are 3 singles that include videos out now: Dallas Man, Southern Men, and the song Hurricane Girl, which I will play before she comes on the show. Great album, great conversation. She's also playing her record release show this Friday at Antone's. Friday, October 15th. Antone's here in Austin, her record release party. She's going on tour until December. Go to SueFoley.com for all of your Sue Foley needs. You can go there for music, videos, and tour dates, whatever you need from Sue Foley. She's got it there. We have a great conversation about making the record. The record was made like live in the studio over at the fire station. As I said, was produced by Mike Flanigin and features the great Chris Layton and Jon Penner. And what a great like musical conversation this is. I spent some time with the record even after we talked about it, just kind of like meditating on what it is that I never really fully connected with like blues music. And I don't quite know what it is because I really love it. And whatever it is that she's doing, if that's blues, then I'm sold, baby. These are great songs, great playing. There's great communication. That's what I wanted to get to, is like between the 3 of these people playing on this record, there is just this amazing musical communication happening that can only happen in real time with people playing in the same room together. And that's something that we're missing nowadays from music. That's something that, like, you can make records in your bedroom with like full orchestrated stuff. You totally can. And that's awesome. But you know what's missing from that? The musical conversation between human beings that can only happen at that moment. And if you capture it on tape and it's magic, that's what makes this thing worth listening to. And that's what I'm getting at, or getting to, about my understanding of the blues. Great conversation with Sue Foley. As I said, this new record, Pinky's Blues, fantastic. Go to SueFoley.com for all of your Sue Foley needs. However, before we talk to Sue Foley, I talked to my dear old friend, Christine Albert, founder of Swan Songs, also a singer-songwriter. You can find them at swansongs.org. Swan Songs is the Austin nonprofit dedicated to providing last musical wishes to people at the end of their lives. So say someone is like a Frank Sinatra fan, they find someone to play Frank Sinatra songs, or someone's a Ray Prim fan, they reach out to a guy like Ray Prim and have him go play at the end. It's a beautiful, beautiful nonprofit that creates, that gives people their favorite music at the end of their life. And I can't really think of anything more beautiful than that. Also, I've known Christine since I was like almost 40 years. She's always been absolutely wonderful. As I said, you can find Swan Songs at swansongs.org. Well, every year they have a Swan Song Serenade, and that Christine's been on for the last, 4 or 5 years to promote the show, and we catch up. I love talking to her. She's a wonderful person, as I said. And the last couple of years they've had to be virtual. And so this year they decided to do something special. They teamed up with Tito's and they're presenting Love, Tito's and Swan Songs Serenade to our healthcare community. They work with healthcare workers, and we all know that the last year and a half has been just a shit show for those poor people. And so they decided to do something very special, and they've been having videos from great artists like Marsha Ball, Ray Benson, Jimmy Dale Gilmore, and Butch Hancock, Leyline, Ray Prim, Shiny Ribs, Jackie Venson, DZ Brown, all kinds of people playing all kinds of music. And you can go find all of this music at swansongs.org. And now it's this Sunday, October 17th at 7 p.m., they'll be streaming a broadcast presenting selections of songs for free. So go to swansongs.org, find their Love, Tito's and Swan Songs Serenade to our healthcare community, and get involved there and find out how to get involved. So before we talk to the great Sue Foley, let's talk to my dear old friend, Christine Albert, about the Swan Songs Serenade. Let's get down. Now,
I created a monster.
You did. On this Sunday one, the thing that happens this Sunday, which is the streaming broadcast, is this one going to have all of the people listed on the thing? No, because there's so many of them, and we only want to do like an hour and 15 minutes or so for the event. So we're going to just choose, a handful, probably about 10 of them or something. And okay.
And I don't know for sure what we're going to end up with, because we're pre-building that event, and we're still getting videos in, and I just want to see what makes sense, what kind of mix we end up with. So I'm even pre-recording the introductions and not saying the name of the artist. Just here's another healthcare serenade.
Right. And so these serenades were specifically created for healthcare workers, like saluting them this year for all of the work that they've done, not just with Swan Songs, but just...
just mostly about the pandemic.
Yeah.
But we were just kind of, it was time to start planning our serenade, and we knew we couldn't do an in-person event, and we just didn't have the fire in our belly we were so distracted, at the time that we had to make this decision by COVID and what was happening. And a lot of our board members are involved in the medical field. One of our staff members was really sick with COVID all year, with long COVID, and then she got the Delta variant. So it was just very present in our lives. And we came up with this idea with Tito's to send some musical comfort to the healthcare community. So we felt like we were using the resources we have and the relationships and the process that we have for virtual concerts, and rallying all those and sending them out to that community. A little every week. Every week we release another handful.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
And so you're letting people come in and enjoy some of those performances this coming weekend, the 17th.
Yeah, and they've been they're all available at our website. We post them every week. And at first we were going to make them sort of a private link just for healthcare workers. And then that just started to feel more complicated than it needed to be. And we were like, why not share the music with everyone and also share the messages of support so that everyone, hears them, hears the artists thanking the healthcare community, and then that makes them be more aware and grateful for what they're doing. So we opened it up, and it made it easier to share, so that people could share it with healthcare workers who were friends around the country, and hospitals could share it with their teams without having to. What's the private link that we need? Right. We just said you can go find it at our website. But not everybody's watching them. So at the Serenade on the 17th, we'll share a bunch of the videos.
Great.
And just celebrate the healthcare community.
It's been a long year for anybody that's in a fundraising situation. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know how public or how much the public realizes that when everyone's pocketbooks get tight, the first people are the people that depend on people being loose with their money. Right.
Yeah, it has been a challenge, but I will say that we're really fortunate. Things like the PPP funding.
Yep.
We got 2 of those loans, and they were both forgiven, and we used them to keep our staff working and keep our infrastructure happening. So that was very helpful. And then we've had City of Austin Arts and Culture Nonprofit Grant that we, it's a relief grant, and we were accepted for that. So we've got another chunk of money from there. And our sponsors, this year, the Serenade is our primary annual fundraising initiative. So, I was calling sponsors to say, would you still sponsor the event this year, even though you're not going to have a table in a ballroom with a meal and a performance by an iconic Texas artist? Usually we're thanking the donors with these performances, and we're celebrating the work we've done in the past year and our volunteers. And we weren't going to be gathering that way. And it was actually a conversation with Amy Lucan from Tito's. She's the joyologist. She manages their entire philanthropic efforts, which is huge. They're very generous. It was a conversation with her where I was saying, would you still support us this year? Because the organization still needs the support, but we really we're just not, it doesn't feel in alignment to go put together a gala or even a virtual event that was just about entertainment. And she said, I told her I wanted to just create some videos of music and send music out into the community to comfort everyone. And she said, what if we've been wanting to do something to provide comfort for the healthcare community? Could we target these to them? And we would support that effort. And I said, I love that idea because it's so complementary to what we do. We work with healthcare community all the time. So we sort of hatched this idea together. And then it felt right. Then it felt like we were doing the right thing, and we were using all of our musical relationships and our systems and our processes to create these videos and put them on our website. And our sponsors to speak to the fundraising part, a lot of our sponsors have said, we love this. We love that you're putting your energy and resources into this, and it feels really worthwhile. So we're still going to support you with a sponsorship this year. So we feel really fortunate.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Tito's has been such a great supporter of this community from the get-go.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's been really interesting to watch that company grow and to have it be so homegrown and still feel that way. It still feels so connected to Austin. And I know they do philanthropy all over the world now, but it definitely feels like they're still on our side here.
Yeah, definitely. So that's great that you were able to keep everything going and the lights on, but still the thing about these the thing about all of these nonprofits, Swan Songs, Sims, Ham, the Austin Music Foundation, all of these things that sort of are musically inclined, but all of them, you get that money and you're able to make it to the next marker that you're going to be out again.
I know. Yeah. It's definitely a big part of having a nonprofit is, the resources to keep it going. And because you really need, you need an infrastructure. You need to buy insurance for your board, and you need to pay your staff, and you need to pay utilities and the internet. And, there's infrastructure involved with, and then the program costs on top of that. So, it's running a business. It's really running a business. And, but it's not a business where you're selling widgets and you can anticipate how many you're going to sell. You're really dependent on the generosity of the community, and then also this, making sure you have a good strategy for grants. We apply for a lot of grants, and the Texas Commission on the Arts supports Swan Songs consistently.
That's great.
And then the NEA had some grants related to COVID this year and everybody's making it. St. David's Foundation supports us. And what I noticed is a lot of the foundations or the grantors changed their process to make it a little bit easier to apply in the last couple of years. So you weren't bogged down by the process itself. They simplified grant applications and grant reporting. And I really appreciated that, because we were all having to scramble, and especially Swan Song our program itself was overnight transformed because we couldn't go into homes and care facilities and hospices and sing for people. But they still needed music. So we had to create a whole virtual process.
How did you do that?
And as we all just started learning, we just, the interesting thing is, because I'm a musician and Chris and I were also figuring that out. How do we live stream? How do we use our studio to do that? What's the software we need? What's the interface we need? So we started, as we were learning to create virtual concerts for our own career, we were giving guidance to Swan Songs musicians about, the best way to record. This is the equipment you might need to get. And if you're going to use your iPad or your iPhone, here's where you need to place it.
Yeah.
And we were kind of coaching some of our Swan Songs musicians, and they were out there figuring it all out too and helping us with information. And we had to set up a system of, okay, so where do these come? We let Chris helps us with all the editing, and then where do we put them? Where do we house them? How do we get them to the recipient? Because we continued doing musical last wish requests. Right. So people could still request a style of music. And then a musician would pre-record a concert for them, but talk to them directly. Right. Hey, Joe, I see you love Hank Williams. And then we would send it to them. And then we did some on Zoom. And so we just kind of figured it out. But it was like having to set up a whole new process. Yeah. Archiving them and how people send them to us. But now that's why when Amy suggested this about concerts, she said, how could we get music to the healthcare community? And we decided that what we needed to do is make it accessible to them whenever they had a moment and needed some musical refreshment, and not say, here's a live concert for you at this date and time. So I said, we can do this because our website is set up for it, our editing capability, all of our systems. And we'll just upload new ones every week. And so every Friday at 3:00, healthcare workers or anyone else can go to our website and see new concerts and see, what came in this week, and messages of support. That was the important thing too. We wanted to not only sing for them, but really articulate how grateful we all are and how much we recognize, even though it's hard for us to imagine, we know how hard it is and how hard it has been. Yeah.
Well, you had some really amazing artists play, Marsha Ball, Ray Benson, Jimmy Dale Gilmore, and Butch Hancock, Leyline, Ray Prim.
Yeah, Leyline. Yeah.
Do you love Leyline?
Yeah, they're great. Yeah, they were wonderful. And they did a wonderful, like, sort of centering thing at the beginning of their song. And yeah, it was really lovely. Betty Sue just sent one. Akina Adderley. The
Such
Levites
amazing.
are an incredible gospel group. They did a great one. Motenko, I loved.
Oh, I love Motenko.
Yeah, it's interesting that, and then DZ Brown,
Oh, yeah.
our local bass drop rapper, they did one. It was great. Lion Heights did a reggae one the other day. That's beautiful. One of our board members is really good friends with Colin, one of the co-founders of Black Fret.
Uh-huh.
And Colin introduced me to a Black Fret member. I think he's a board member, Greg Carter. And he's the one that created that virtual happy hour that they were doing during the pandemic. So we connected, and he helped me reach out to artists that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I just really wanted to make sure we covered a broad base of artists and make sure it was diverse and genre, broad, rather than always leaning on my 30-year-old friendships.
Right.
Christine's friends, who also stepped up, so it's amazing. But he introduced me to a lot of people, like Ray Prim and Motenko and just really awesome. I want to say shout out and thank you to Greg, because he just, sent emails and did virtual introductions, cyber introductions, and all the artists went, yes, of course, we would love to do this. So we ended up with a very interesting list that I've really enjoyed. And now we have all these new artists that can be in the Swan Songs database and on the Swan Songs roster. And a lot of them had heard of us. And so it's been a good connecting for that as well.
Yeah. I feel like since you've started coming on the show about the Swan Song Serenade, which now is like a yearly thing in September, October, we sit down and talk. That more like when you say it, you don't have to explain it as much anymore, because people are like, right. I know, I've heard about that, or my friend did one of those, or I did one of those. You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah, exactly. And that was always my goal, is that I wanted Swan Songs to be embedded in the community consciousness the same way that Ham is or Sims is, as an organization that represents Austin music and supports Austin music, because it's really important that I want everyone on the street to know about it, because everyone eventually faces losing someone and knowing that they're about to lose someone. Right. And I don't want to miss any opportunity to bring music to that person.
Right.
So the more general public knows about it, the more, if it's in the back of their mind and they've heard about it, they go, oh, wait, there's that organization. Maybe we could bring music to my father or my friend or my cousin or whoever.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's starting to happen more. Enough people know about it that they go, maybe you could have a Swan Songs concert for them. And I love that.
Yeah, that's great.
Just really want it to be very present in the community, that opportunity.
Yeah. Well, people, get out there and check out swansongs.org, the Love Tito's and Swan Songs Serenade to our healthcare community. The streaming broadcast is going to take place at 7 p.m. Sunday, October 17th, presenting selections of songs for free and messages of encouragement and thanks. But you can also go to the website and see the videos.
Yes, you can. And you can register for the event for free. And then there's... we have a raffle. We're raffling off a bunch of items, so you can buy raffle tickets and have a chance to win one of like 6 or 7 items.
Yeah.
And we have some other buy it now type offers there and donations. So it'll be part of our fundraising initiative. But mostly we want to just share a lot of these wonderful songs and videos. And then we're also going to feature a beautiful Susan Gibson video. I don't know if you've ever seen Compassionate Combat. It's a song she wrote about nurses during COVID.
Oh, wow.
And then she produced a video out at Blue Rock, and it's just really gorgeous. And it's like the ultimate thank you song for this type of initiative.
Awesome.
I was like, okay, that's going to be, towards the end of the event. I asked her, she goes, oh, of course, you can use it however you want to. So I'm excited to share Susan Gibson's song also that night.
She's great. She's a really fantastic. I got to talk to her once on the show here, and she's just such a cool lady. Yeah,
she is, and what a great songwriter.
Yes, amazing songwriter. Hey, so you guys, you weren't back, but my friend Natalie told me that she went to Don's the other night and played with Chris, or played at some point in the show. But she said you weren't there, but that's back. The Monday nights at Don's are back.
This last Monday was the first one back.
Oh, wow.
He did it, he went, he started in May and ended up doing about 6 weeks. And then when the Delta variant started taking off and we went up to stage 5, he stopped again. So he did it for a brief period of time. And then this past Monday was his first time back since early July when he stopped again. And so I don't always, I've never gone every single Monday night. And I was like, wow, I have a Monday night off again. So I stayed home with the dogs and I'm always so like Monday is such a busy work day for me. And then I'd get done and then we would do our live stream. And plus I did Mystery Monday for, almost 8 years.
Right.
And I stopped the week before the pandemic, just coincidentally. So then I went, now I'm going to have Mondays off. And then I jumped into doing virtual Mondays with Chris for a year and a half. So this past Monday, I was like, I'm staying home. I
have to say that you guys, I mean, I didn't see everybody's live stream, but of my friends' live streams that I watched, you guys were the first one that had like production. And then there was like one when you guys had COVID or something, like you just put out videos, because I was going to interview Chris. I still need to do that, but I was going to interview
that's
Chris,
right, he said.
and we had to cancel because he had COVID. But you guys still put a show together. But it was like all of this awesome video stuff.
I know. Chris put that together, and we were both like, I was on the couch and he was in the recliner, and I was sick too. I couldn't believe he went in there and sat at the computer and pulled that together. But then when I saw it, I was like, God, this is a great show. It was like footage of Jimmy Dale on the Tonight Show and like archived footage of both of us. And it was really, really fun. Yeah. And, as over the weeks and months and years, actually, we really figured out, how to use our iPhones and iPads as 5 different camera angles. And we have our studio here, so it was really good audio. And we just started to have a really great time with it. It became another creative outlet for sure. And I almost enjoy being behind the camera. On Monday nights, I would be behind the camera, and it was his Monday night at Don's. But then I jump in and sing sometimes.
Right.
And I used to jump out front and sing with him. Then I figured out how to do a split screen and just stay at the camera and do it. And I just have a great time back there. And then we started doing once a week as Albert and Gage, where we played our guitars and I got to sing and, be part of the show. And it was important because I was actually starting to lose my calluses, from not playing guitar. So last night was our first real, drive 4 hours and play a show and drive back. And musically, we felt warmed up. We've been playing twice a week. So we felt okay musically, but honestly, it's a little odd to be with an audience and just even loading up the truck. Did I think of everything? Sitting in the truck for, 8 hours, like, oh my God, that killed our backs.
Yeah.
I'm so used to, the only place I ever drive is a mile away.
Right.
This is so far. We just haven't been in the Swan Songs office is a mile away. Don's is like 4 miles, so we never drive anywhere anymore. And it was kind of a culture shock. All the stuff around the gig last night was sort of a bit of a shock.
Yeah. We had a thing in Skyrocket a couple of months ago where we played 2 nights in a row, one night in San Antonio and the next night in Houston. And I decided to drive back after the show in Houston. And I got to rehearsal on Wednesday. I was like, Was anybody like unable to move on Sunday? And they were like, oh, no, I didn't do anything. Like I just laid in bed and moaned all day. Yeah.
I know. That's what we were saying today. Chris goes, God, I feel beat up.
Yeah.
I talked to Eliza today too, and she's like, "Yeah, I really don't want to play a gig unless I can drive there in 2 hours." She's in the mountains of New Mexico, so she'll have some really beautiful venues, in the southern Colorado, northern New Mexico.
Definitely. Well, Christine, people get out there to swansongs.org. Check out the streaming broadcast on Sunday at 7 p.m. I'll put links to everything on there. I'm glad to see you.
Thank you.
You look fantastic.
I know, you too.
And
thank you. You did too. I'm glad your back is better.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad. Well, you'll get better. You'll play more gigs. Like the thing is we're all so out of shape from playing gigs. If we were like 25, it wouldn't be as painful, but it would be the equivalent of what a 25-year-old feels at this point. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Well, thanks
we'll
again.
Ease back into it.
And people check out Love Tito's and Swan Songs Serenade to our healthcare community. Thanks again, Christine.
All right. Love you.
Love you
Bye.
Too. Bye. That's Christine Albert, founder of Swan Songs. Go to swansongs.org to get involved, to get to see the Love Tito's and Swan Songs Serenade to our healthcare community. And also, you can see the streaming broadcast this Sunday, October 17th at 7 p.m. Go to swansongs.org for more information on that. Thank you to Christine for taking the time to come on. I always love talking to her. I think Swan Songs is an amazing organization. And even if you're not going to watch the broadcast, I think you should go there and check it out, swansongs.org. Do that for me. All right? All right, let's talk to singer-songwriter, guitarist Sue Foley, whose brand new album, Pinky's Blues, drops October 22nd. She is celebrating with a release show this Friday at Antone's right here in Austin. That's Friday, October 15th. Go to SueFoley.com to get involved with that. She's also going to be on tour until December. So if you want to find out more about what's going on with Sue Foley and if she's coming to a town near you, go to SueFoley.com. Great conversation. It's always great to catch up with her. This is her second time on the show. This record, as I said, Pinky's Blues, fucking amazing. You're about to hear the song Hurricane Girl from the album. Produced by Mike Flanigin, featuring Chris Layton on drums and Jon Penner on bass. This is me and Sue Foley chatting it up, baby. Let's get down.
1, 2, 3, 4.
There you are. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good.
Good to see you.
I'm good to see you. And how are you?
I'm doing well. It's been a crazy year for everybody, huh?
You could say that.
Or year and a half now. How long is it? That's another thing, is I can't tell how much time.
We don't know what time it is or what day it is.
Yeah.
Or what month it is.
Right.
So.
Yeah. But you're back out there, man. You were just at Americana Fest.
I was.
How was it?
It was great. It was, it was really great. And I saw a lot of great bands and, just trying to keep going.
Yeah. Get back out there and do it.
Yeah.
Your new album, Pinky's Blues, which will be coming out on the October 22nd, is amazing. Yeah. What a great record.
Well, thanks.
Yeah. Just from the opening, like that instrumental Pinky's Blues, like your tone. I don't know if it's the opening because I had a Dropbox link, so I don't.
Yeah, I think that is the opening, the title. Yeah,
makes sense. But just your tone is so fierce.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, this is Texas. If you don't have a tone, what do you got?
I don't know. It's funny.
I don't know.
That's like one of those things in the guitar world that defines, even like in the blues world, there's all these different levels of like grit to people's tone.
Yeah. And, I always made tone a real priority. So I appreciate you noticing that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing I noticed is you're such a great singer.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. I really love the way you use your voice. I love your voice itself, but I really love your control over it. Like it gets, it gets loud when it needs to. I love it.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
One more thing about the record. The drums are like nasty.
Yeah. I mean, Whipper, Layton, I mean, what are you going to say about that? You know, Chris is just, he's inspiring. Like that guy he really pushes hard and he really gives it. So special guy.
I think we're the same age. That's something interesting. Do you look at guys that are ahead of us and you're like, all right, so he's still going. He's still good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also their joy of playing and their, just how dedicated they are and how into it they are, like just genuinely. And yeah, Chris is a very inspiring guy. He never stops. He never stops, literally. He's a go-go guy, but his playing is, I don't know, so great.
Yeah. Did you guys cut this like you were playing together, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The whole thing, we were playing together. So what you hear is what was happening in real time. I didn't overdub solos. We couldn't, in fact, because everything was bleeding into each other.
Oh, right.
Even after we got all the tracks back, and there might have been a place or two where we couldn't bring the vocal up as loud as we wanted to and stuff like that, we had to just live with it because we couldn't overdub.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, there's no other way to really execute the record that you made. It would be ridiculous if you didn't, because it's all like the feel of it and everything is based on the communication of these three people.
Yeah. And, of course, all the blues albums and jazz albums that we love were all recorded live, and everybody played in live, and they sang and played their solos. It wasn't like, it wasn't Memorex. It was just real. It was like happening right there. So,
yeah. Does that turn you off about music that's out today?
I can't even comment about music that's out today. I have no idea what's going on.
Okay.
I seriously have no idea.
Well, there's just things like the grid has taken over. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, there's that. Yeah. I mean, it's a different discipline. I mean, and I know people that work with the grid and are really fantastic with it. So,
but it's just, it's dominant at this point.
I guess so. Yeah. I mean, what we did is very old school. It's unexpected, which seems weird because it's what we do. I mean, we play a lot, and I can execute everything on the album on stage. So there's not going to be, I don't need anything when I go on the road. I can just play it. But that's because of that. I'm sort of an antiquated artist anyway. I go back and I don't really do the modern thing, but I know people that do and are so fantastic. So I have no real criticism of it. It's just my own choice.
Right. Well, that's a good way to look at it. Sometimes it bums me out because I can hear it and feel it, And that's more like as I'm walking, but it's not like stuff that I'm looking to listen to. But it's interesting because so Mike Flanigin produced it, and I love that guy, and I think he's super brilliant, but would he just go like, all right, that was good? Like,
not quite. Mike is actually pretty discerning. Because it isn't easy to produce something like that. When it's happening live, you'd just be like, yeah, that was good. Or from us as players in the studio, we'd be like, was that good? I mean, that felt all right. And he was actually pretty astute and said, yeah, no, that's not it. Or that's great. He was really good at making those split moment decisions that you need to be able to do. He's got great ears. And that's why I keep working with Mike, because I think he did a fantastic job on my last album.
Yeah, he did.
And we, obviously we're together all last year, and we did his album, which was great. And then we just did my album right after it in the same vein,
So when you go on tour, which you're about to go on tour for quite a while, are they going with you?
Oh no, Whipper is out with Kenny Wayne.
Oh, wow.
Mike is out with Jimmie, and then Billy Gibbons sometimes. So on the road, I'm using Jon Penner, the same bass player who was on the album. He is great, and Jon and I started out together, so that's a great thing too. We started out as kids together, and we have all this history. He was on my first 4 Antone's albums.
Oh wow!
He moved to Austin with me as part of my band from Canada, when we came down here. So he ended up going, we split up after about 10 years together. I was having a baby. I moved back to Canada, and he joined Junior Brown's band and was with Junior for a long time. Now he's back with me.
That's good.
Yeah. And then we got Corey Keller on the drums on the road, and Corey's fantastic. He's another Antone's kid. He came up under the tutelage of Clifford Antone. Him and his brother moved. His brother Mike is a great guitar player. They moved to Austin on the heels of us. We were the kids, and then they were the kids. And the next sort of round of children. It's
interesting how that is a real thing here. There's it's very defined, like the classes of musicians. I think you and I might be in a similar class, but just went to different schools. Yeah,
I'm sure. And it's what I loved about getting to Austin when I did is the scene was so vibrant.
Yeah.
It was known worldwide. I mean, from the mid 80s on, Austin was on the map as far as, especially for blues. It was the place to go. They had invented a new sound here, which wasn't really happening everywhere,
Right.
And we knew about it up in Canada. And when I got here, the people always ask me, "Oh, you must have been were they nice to you? You must have been intimidated." I was like, it was the most welcoming scene I'd ever been to.
Yeah.
And it had the highest caliber of player, like the highest world-class everything. And I thought, wow, everybody's so chilled out and so supportive. And
it seems like the better you are, the more laid back you can be. Yeah.
Exactly, right? And that's the way I saw it. I was like, I'd gotten, as a young girl with a bit of an attitude, I had gotten some cold shoulders in places, and I'd gotten some, some heat, and some sort of unwelcoming vibes. And then I got to Austin, and the players were all better than anywhere else, and they were so nice. I was like, wow, maybe that's what it is. Maybe the better you are, the less threatened you are by anybody. Yeah.
Yeah, you want everyone to be good.
Yeah,
or you're not going to have any fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
you seem to be in this world of people that are doing that. Like the whole jungle show and you and Mike doing stuff together. Does that how is that for you? Is that somewhere you always wanted to be, where you were doing different things? Didn't you just play with Jimmie in his when he was opening for Clapton?
No, I didn't play it with Jimmie. I went and saw them at one show, and I sat in with Jimmie a lot. And I did sit in with them at Royal Albert Hall with Clapton, so that was pretty awesome.
That's super awesome.
Jimmie is very supportive as well, and has really championed me, which you have no idea what that means to me as a guitar player, because everybody wants Jimmie's approval.
Yeah, totally.
including the best guitar players. You'd be surprised, So, but yeah, we try to do a bunch of different things. I love playing with Mike. We did a little thing called the Texas Blues Party. Sometimes we go and do that, and we've done that with Whipper, and then we got the Jungle Show, and then I'll sit in with Jimmie or play with our friends in town. It's still good.
Yeah. I think one of my best friends went to almost every Sunday show you guys played at the Sagebrush.
Oh, wow. Well, that was really fun. Yeah. We really, we really needed that at that time.
Yeah.
We had to play. It was like, it's not just, it's not just for money. And it wasn't really for money at that point. We were just like, man, we just got to play. We just got to play.
Yeah, you got to.
People want to come out, good. If not, don't. But a lot of people really appreciated it.
I've seen a lot of people come out of this pandemic era, or at least the first part of it, when people were starting to come out again, with like two different mindset, musician wise. Like some of them were like, I am going to double down. I'm going to go out on the road for the rest of my life. And then other people were like, over the last year and a half, I realized I don't really have to be killing myself all the time.
Right.
Yeah. Seems like you came out with the fierce, ready to go.
Yeah, we're ready to go. We're ready to go big time. I mean, this is what we do. And the fact that you saw how that could be taken away from you so quickly, made you feel like, oh man, what the hell? How could that get taken away? How could people overlook the fact that live music is important?
Right.
I mean, it's important on more than one level. It's something. There's something that happens. It's a chemistry. Of course, you know this, but with an audience and a live performer, you can't. And when we tried to live stream, we all realized, screw this. Like, we don't want to do this. Yeah. It's no offense to live streaming. But it's flat. It doesn't. This is what we do. We bring music to the people, face to face, and they got to keep that going. They can't let that die. No, not at all. So there's, as far as frontline workers, I consider myself one of the frontline workers now. Yeah, I'm out there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So, Amen. Yeah, I've been. Yeah. I guess I went to a show that was like an outside show back in November. That I went to one of those drive-in shows, and although that was really cool, it was weird. Like just sitting in your car. Yeah. There's no replacing it. I mean, they can't. It's a magical thing. It's people need that. Yeah. Hey, real quick. It's not just for the performers too. The performers need it, but the audience needs it too. It's medicine, right? Totally. And it's not just to feed our egos. It's how we get stuff out. Like, it's like we're not getting to go to the therapist. Exactly. And which is another reason why we had to play last year. It's like, you don't play. It's not just like you forget who you are. There's part of that, but you don't get that stuff out, and you're like, why do I feel so weird? Yeah, totally. Exactly. Like, what's wrong with me? It's like, oh, we played a gig. Yeah. And you miss doing those things. So one thing I wanted to ask you real fast was that, are you guys doing a jungle show for New Year's this year? They will be announcing something soon. I just can't say when. Okay. Yeah. That's exciting. But it sounds like it's going to happen. How does that feel being in that, just sort of cradle of creativity? It's really great. When I first did the first one or two, I was super nervous to play with Jimmy and Billy. And really, I think over time, we've all kind of gotten to know each other, and we have a really nice chemistry and a really respectful chemistry. And I don't know, I think it's really kind of gelled over the last few shows that we've done. So I really look forward to it. And I just, everybody's so special in that group. The fact that I could stand up there with them, I'm just like, I'm always tickled and happy. That's great. I'm glad that it's not one of those like, I beat myself up every night. Like, what am I doing up there? I know people that have gotten to do stuff like that like walk away like, oh God, every night I just felt like a dummy. No, I really, you know what it's like? Standing between Billy and Jimmy is standing like between two wizards, you know? And they're just like, you don't know where the magic is going to be aimed or go off. And I just kind of feel like, I'm working off both of them, but I'd love to bolster them. And like I said, I've gotten relaxed about it.
the music I'm very comfortable with. And I've gotten more confident in my role and my stance to be able to stand up there. I feel, pretty good about it.
Yeah. What is what do you guys play?
Blues. I mean, that's the fun thing.
Is it just,
they just pull out blues.
Okay. Just straight up like everyone's favorite blues songs in the band? Pretty
much. I mean, the guys will do I do the odd number. I'll do a couple of tunes. Flanigin might sing one. We do maybe a couple with just me, Chris, and Mike to warm up the show usually. But besides that, Billy usually just handpicks some fun songs that he's always wanted to play, some Jimmy Reeds and some stuff and, this and that. And then, of course, we have to pepper it with hits, a couple of hits. We have to play LaGrange. And then Jimmy does the same thing. He does his most famous songs, and then we have some ensemble pieces,
That's awesome. That's really awesome. So when this comes out, there'll only be 2 singles out, the Dallas Man and Southern Men?
Well, they just dropped the 3rd video today of Hurricane Girl, so that just came out.
That's a really good song, too.
Thank you.
All right, I'll put links to that stuff in here.
Yeah. On October 22nd, the whole thing's out.
Right. Are you... I know that people have that put out a bunch of records. I feel the same way. Are you like, this is my favorite one yet?
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I don't know if it's my favorite one. I don't know if I have a favorite one, but I stand by it. I think it's really strong. I feel like I can pull everything off. Feels very grounded. And the songs are great. I mean, they're not all my songs. We just handpicked some amazing covers to do. So,
they did send me a thing with the credits, but I didn't read them. So, as far as I'm concerned, you wrote all those songs.
No, I wrote 3 or 4. I mean, it's mostly covered. Yeah. So there's some Angela Straley songs. There's 2 songs by Angela. There's a Lavelle White song, one of her best, Stop These Teardrops. It's a song I've always loved.
I think that's my favorite song on the record.
Yeah, that's a killer song.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm glad you thought I wrote that, but I wish I did.
Yeah.
I wish. Yeah, that's Lavelle, man. That's a killer song. Frankie Lee Sims. We've got some Clarence Gatemouth Brown. Just favorites, and then some deep tracks like Southern Men was originally called Southern Women, and actually I've got the album right here. Hold on, let me show you.
Oh wow!
Have you ever seen this Blues in D Natural?
No.
So this is let me show you that. It's a compilation album. Came out in the mid '80s. In the early 80s. Let me see when it came out. But anyway, Stevie Ray did Boot Hill that was off this album by a guy named Sly Williams. Mm-hmm. But this is compilation. It's got like Earl Hooker on it. It's got Robert Nighthawk, one of my favorites. Got a guy named Charles Clark does a killer version of Hidden Charms and Row Your Boat. Just some weird covers, but really cool stuff. And then there's Southern Woman is... the guy named Tommy Brown did this in 1954 in Chicago, and it's just a killer track, and I've always loved it. I've had this album since I was 15.
That's awesome.
Same vinyl. I know. And so I keep referring back to it, and I started to listen to it again. I was like, man, that song is so cool. And finally did it. I didn't know if I could pull it off because it's Southern Woman, and then I thought, I'll just change it to Southern Men, but yeah.
Let me ask you a question, because when you discovered blues when you were 15, right?
Yeah.
That was a time when you had to go on these quests to find a record like that. You had to.
Yeah.
There was a lot of work involved. Yeah.
It was serious. Yeah.
Do you
first you had to get the money?
What's that? Yeah. First you had to get the money.
You had to get the money, and we didn't have any money. Parents didn't give us any money, so you'd have to earn some money. You'd have to go make some money first.
Yeah. Do you now, as a fan, freak out because you can just put any name in and hear a song? Or
Yeah, it's totally changed the landscape. I mean, to think you can access all this stuff at your fingertips in a second. When it literally, I could tell you the tracks I made for almost every blues album I bought when I was 15 and 16. It was a whole thing, you know. So it kind of. But that being said, I still have this, and it's precious.
Yeah.
Right. And what is precious about, you know, a thing I pull out on YouTube in 2 seconds, and then I go on to the next thing. So I think there's something that people still want, something like this in their lives. Like, man, this is precious. Yeah. You know?
Do you think that easy accessibility and all that stuff kind of diminishes the connection that a fan has with music now? Like somebody that came up in this era and became aware of music in this era, do they have that same connection that we did as kids, that we had to like work for stuff to get it?
I don't think so. I don't know what to compare it to. It's a different landscape completely. My son is 24. And
okay.
The cool thing about him, though, is he's got such eclectic tastes and he can access everything. It's like, that's another thing. We couldn't get stuff. There'd be 18 blues records in the blues bin. And, right. You know, there wouldn't be, you couldn't just get anything. You could only get what was there.
Yeah.
So now he can hear music from everywhere in a minute. And I guess there's, and he loves music. I mean, but he's buying vinyl again. You know, he's buying vinyl. So what does that tell you?
I don't know. It's weird. There's cassettes are going around now, too.
Yeah. So I think it's great. And people still want that connection.
Does Pinky's Blues come out on vinyl? Yeah.
It does. It does come out on vinyl. I'm not sure if I'm going to have it by the album release. I've got to check, but it might have been delayed.
So you're doing some album release shows real quick in Texas, Friday, October 15th at Antone's. Thursday, October 21st at Dan Silverleaf in Denton, classic venue. These are all classic venues. Friday, October 22nd, Rockefellers in Houston. Saturday, October 23rd, Poor David's Pub in Dallas. And then you're out on the road, so people can just go to SueFoley.com and look up your many dates and see if you're coming to a town near them.
That's right. We're going to be there.
You're doing some cruises next year, I saw, or at least a cruise.
A cruise, yeah. We're doing the Blues Alive at Sea cruise.
What goes on at a Blues Alive at Sea cruise?
You know, I've only been on one blues cruise, and that was a while ago. But yeah, it's just a bunch of people on a boat. It's like a big festival that doesn't end for about a week.
Right.
It's cool, though. You see a lot of friends and hang out.
Do you get to still like go swimming and do like cruise stuff, like climb a fake wall or something?
You could do that. You can do that because you only play a couple of times, and then the rest of the time you're kind of like a tourist.
Huh.
Yeah. So you get to go into when they dock and they go into places. You can go in, shop.
I think that's really cool.
Yeah, go to the beach. Yeah, it's fine.
So back to this Dallas Man song and video. It was shot at Sons of Herman Hall. That's right. Yeah. Another classic place.
I know, right? It's still there.
Was the director involved? Did you want to do it there? What was your...
We had actually wanted to do it at the Longhorn Ballroom, but we couldn't get access to it. We did some outdoor stuff at the Longhorn. And then Mike Flanigin brought up, well, maybe Sons of Herman. I think, there's still stuff going on there. And we went down to see it. I got them on the phone. And they're still booking shows there, and you can still rent the venue. So, and back in the day, everybody played there. And there's a part of the video where I'm looking at the wall of pictures, and it's all those 8x10s of all the people that played there. I love that. So that's just a cool place. It's been there for over 100 years. Deep Ellum, of course, is so important to the history of music in Dallas and blues. I just kind of had this whole, mysterious, mythological kind of, vibe for me. Yeah.
That just made me think 8x10s, I guess, are a thing of the past. Did you have 8x10s?
I did have 8x10s.
But you have them now?
I mean, I do, but I don't know. I never used them. It'd be a good thing to kind of sell maybe because people might like them.
Yeah.
People used to love those, you know. Everybody had 8x10s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have like
We're dating.
my 80s and 90s and early 2000s, like all my haircuts are documented in these things. And
yeah, right.
Yeah. Is one of those pink Telecasters pinky?
No, the big pinky or pinky 1 is in the closet. These are pinky 2 and pinky 3. The one in front is the one Jimmy gave me, and the second one Billy gave me.
Wow.
As a sort of not a replacement for pinky, but for when I'm touring.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't come on the road anymore. So, and then there's a white telly in the back. I should put them all on there. That'd be kind of fun. But
yeah. What is that white telly? Do you use that one as well?
I play that around the house.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
That's a question I have for you. Touring and stuff. Do you warm? Do you warm up and every night?
Yeah.
Like, do you have a regimen?
Yeah. No, I don't have a regimen. I just noodle for a few minutes before the show, make sure they're working.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're playing that much, your hands pretty much are in good shape usually.
What about?
It's when you're not playing that you need to warm up, you know.
Right.
Oh.
Did you played? I mean, obviously, you made a couple of records during the crazy time. So you were playing the whole time.
Oh yeah. I still play. I mean, I'm off now for a couple of weeks, and I'll be playing a few hours a day usually.
Awesome. What else do you do? What else do you do like with your time off?
Well, you know what I started doing, because the gym's closed. So I got my bike fixed and I started cycling, I should say. So I love to cycle. And then I love to cycle to Barton Springs and go swimming. I love swimming. I love swimming at Barton Springs. I think it's saved my spirit this last year, because there's just something about it. I swam all winter, and I was like one of those crazy winter swimmers and everything. Yeah. Well, at one point,
it's not as cold as outside, right?
That's right. It's warmer in the water than the air temperature.
Do you still get that shock to your body, though? Yeah.
You get it when you come out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You come out into 32-degree weather. You're like, wow. Plus, it was cold last winter, right?
It was. So what about your voice? Do you do vocal warm-ups? Do you have a thing for that?
No, I should. I wish I did. There was a time when I took vocal lessons and did all that stuff, the warm-ups and everything, but no.
Did you ever smoke?
Yes.
You did? But you don't anymore, right?
No. No.
That's good. Because your voice is so clear and so like I can hear it in mine is even like my speaking voice is lower than it used to be back in the old days.
Right. It's got a little bit of a timbre to it.
Yeah. Which is cool, but you're like, oh shit, does it just keep on going down?
I think it does. I think voices do go down. Yeah. The lower the pitch goes down.
The video for Southern Men, who did that?
We did all the videos with Tim Hardiman.
Okay.
He's based out of Nashville, and he works closely with the Black Keys and their team. He's just a cool dude that freelances. He also works at CMT, but just a cool guy. We just liked his style and enlisted him. He took on all 3 videos. They were all shot in Dallas. So you'll see the Dallas skyline or just everything we could find from the area and take advantage of. Yeah.
Yeah. You also worked with a dude I worked with who I love a lot, Danny Clinch.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, he did the album cover. Of course, here it is. And it's on my shirt, too. By the way, I was shooting some promo videos today, so I'm wearing my own merch. But yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Danny. And fantastic. I was so stoked that we got those pictures. Now, those were taken at the Beacon Theater last year. It was March 12th, and they were literally just shutting everything down as this show was supposed to happen, this big show, and Danny was shooting backstage. So I had literally 5 minutes with him. And he
Wow.
got those shots. Yeah. And then when we made this album, I'm like, maybe we should call Danny and see how those pictures turned out, and we were so happy to get a Danny Clinch because, yeah, he's pretty incredible.
He is super incredible. And also like
He's
an
super
incredible dude.
Yeah, he's an incredible dude, and he's just so talented, and he's so, like, he's big. God, I don't know if he's the top rock photographer, but he's got to be. I think he might be.
Yeah. I worked with him like 20 years ago, but we ended up hanging out and stuff afterwards many times. And one time I almost cut my finger off showing him this like foot scooter I had bought on tour. But I have to admit this because it's hilarious, is that I thought he was so cool that like I started dressing like him. Like I found this sweater that was just like one he was wearing when we met.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure he probably loves your music as well. That dude loves blues.
He loves music. He plays harmonica.
Yes.
We've done some jamming together. Yeah, he's just a cool guy. I met his wife at a party once. Very, very nice people.
Yeah.
Really down to earth.
Very down to earth. What you imagine people from New Jersey are supposed to be like.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So are you going to Europe anytime? Is that in the books, or has that been tough?
Yeah, I was just in Switzerland like a week and a half ago.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. The only tough part was being on an airplane with a mask. I mean, that just sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks the life out of you. Nobody likes it. So, but the rest was good. Yeah, we played, and they're starting to open things up over there, and we just hope it's full steam ahead. Let's just go.
Yeah. I want full steam ahead to come back. So how long were you there?
A weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was one festival, and we were in and out, but it was good to get back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, your album Pinky's Blues is gorgeous, and I love it. And now I know that Lavelle White wrote "Stop These Teardrops."
Check out her version. My God, you will freak out. Her original version. She recorded it in the 60s, and then she recorded it for Antone's later on. Let me see if I can find the link while we're talking. I'll send it to you. It's so good. Oh, my God. And then Luann recorded it. Luann Barton.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I have to be honest, Sue. I'm like, I really am from like I just don't know blues. It's not that I don't like it. I just haven't been around it that much.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, blues is its own thing.
It is its own thing. And it's interesting because in that world, like when you do it, there are certain parameters that you work within, right?
Yes. Sorry, I'm just getting this.
Sure.
I'm getting this link for you because it's so badass. It's playing in my head too. Okay.
That riff is so cool. That.
I mean, did you hear it?
I just heard it on there. Yeah.
You did hear it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
cool.
it's on yours too.
Yeah. Okay. Here, you can check it out later.
Oh, thank you.
I send it to you.
So I'm trying to think of a way to explain it because I've heard Gary Clark Jr. talk about it, that there's like a community of people that don't want you to do certain things. Right? Am I wrong?
Like, you mean?
Like there's parameters to being a blues artist.
Okay. Be more specific. I'm not sure.
Even down to gear. Say a dude shows up with like a Charvel and a Peavey. You know what I'm saying?
You think they're from Mississippi. You'd be like, yeah, they must be from Mississippi.
And musically, right. But like musically, there are, what I'm saying is, are there rules to blues?
Well, it depends who you ask. I certainly can't impose the rules. There's no rules that I'm going to impose. I mean, there's things that I think, there are things that I think qualifies you as a blues artist. you should be playing blues.
Right. Right.
It seems really simple.
Yeah.
But, you'd be surprised at how many are calling themselves blues artists when they don't play any blues.
Right.
And you're like, well, there's no blues there. Like, I don't know. It's like 80s rock, maybe. I don't know, country. I don't know what you call it. But it ain't blues. And I think if you're going to call yourself a blues artist or call your album a blues album, it should have some blues on it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's a rule for me, like that I would say. That's my rule.
Maybe it's more with the fans. Like there's a certain thing that they want. You know what I'm saying? And that, say somebody turns around and does something like outside of the blues world, sometimes that audience would not be as behind it as they were. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and there's all kinds of levels of that. Like there are the traditionalists, and then there are the more contemporary fans that want to hear it a certain way.
Right.
If you go by any of those qualifiers, you're going to get lost because you really need to just find something within yourself that works for you and do that and not worry about what everybody else says or does or what they're thinking. I mean, people could say, I'm not a blues artist because I'm from Canada. I'm white. I'm a girl. I'm from Canada. How could I be a blues guitar player? And how could I be a Texas blues guitar player? Which seems completely, even when I speak that, it sounds like, well, yeah, why would I be? But I am, and that's just the way it worked out, so... but there'd be a lot of people that don't agree with that. I'm okay with it.
Yeah. I guess what I'm doing is projecting those traditionalist ideals, which I've heard from fans and not really any actual musicians, because the blues musicians that I know don't ever like, you know what I mean? I guess I was just projecting that from fans, but maybe that also shows my lack of experience with it.
Well, it's a whole thing. I mean, it's a religion in a way.
Yeah.
So as soon as you get into it, you're going to just find people at odds about things. And I just listen to who I like and I do what I like to do. And I think there's an audience that likes me, and that's good. And I'm good with that.
Yeah. When you write a song, normally are you playing an electric guitar? Or are you playing an acoustic guitar?
Mostly acoustic in the house. I mean, I will play some electric, but mostly acoustic.
Okay. Because sometimes there are people I know that actually write on electric guitar, but most people I do know that, I mean, we all just kind of write on acoustic guitars.
Mostly. I gravitate to acoustic at home. I play nylon string. That's my passion.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Can you do the whole flamenco style?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah? Is that something that you've sort of like over the years have like worked on?
Yeah, I've really worked on it, and I can do it, and I practice it, and probably my next project I'll be featuring a little more of that.
Wow.
I've peppered some of my recordings with some of that, but I've really developed the nylon string quite a lot. So.
It takes a long time. That's one of those things that's like someone learning the doumbek or something in India, where they're like, hey, you can't play until you've actually done the 10,000 hours. Yeah,
and it's true, and it's a different instrument. Because when I started taking flamenco lessons or nylon lessons, I realized it's a completely different instrument.
Did you notice it inform your electric guitar playing at all?
Yeah, I did, because I use my fingers a lot. So with nylon, you're generally, it's kind of a delicate thing. You can be very, very delicate with the guitar. In fact, you don't want to manhandle it too much, it's not to say you can't get aggressive, because flamenco players do, but in general, you want those notes to come out, and they come out at a certain attack point, Right. But it's fairly gentle. You can be fairly gentle. So you could take that gentleness and apply it to the Telecaster, and I'm showing you here with the air guitar, but it's sort of like that. Like, it's like this sort of nuance kind of, if I was playing, I could show you, but it's a sort of a nuance. Yeah.
That's awesome. What else? how do you think that? Oh, this was the thing. What do you do with your Patreon? Like, if someone joins your Patreon, what do they get?
Well, they get, I put out weekly instructional videos. I started to put out some of that content now on YouTube because the content's over a year old. So I've got a ton of it. So, and my Patreon people agreed that it was fine. So but it's a private club basically. And there's certain things there that people get that they don't get anywhere else. There's some behind the scenes stuff. I have my book stuff that I've put out, stuff on my book and some of my own podcast, but my own interviews that I've done with women guitar players as part of my book project.
Oh, wow. Who all have you done?
Oh, God, I did about 100 interviews.
Wow.
And I'm not interviewing anymore. It's just, it was part of this book I was working on. I started that in 2001, but now I'm kind of honing in on getting the actual book done, which has taken 20 years. I can't believe it, but yeah. So I've been leaking some of that stuff on the Patreon, and I do these like small guitar instructionals. They're 5 or 10 minutes long, but they sort of just talk about playing blues and understanding blues and how I approach playing. And so if people are interested in that, that's where you get that info. Okay. And at a higher level, I think it's $40 a month. After several months, you actually can get a private consultation with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Which people take advantage of. And yeah. I have a few men and women who I've given instruction to, and it's fun, just to sit and talk about what they're doing, or if they have any specific questions about what I do or what I can help. I can only do what I do. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
But if you're interested in that, that's where to get it,
So wait, let's go back to this book. Who all did you talk to?
Well, in 100 interviews, a lot of people, but I would say some of the more well-known names are like, Bonnie Raitt and Susan Tedeschi and Joan Armatrading and Susie Quattro and Carol Kay and Sharon Isbin, kind of all kinds of players from different styles of music. Some of them are very well-known and some were very obscure. So there's also a lot of sort of obscurities. There's a few women that have passed away. I mean, so it's kind of vast.
Yeah. I have Joan Armatrading's been coming up in all of these in all these conversations.
Really?
Red Young played with her.
Yeah.
And then I was talking to this other woman who's only like 32, but her whole inspiration for being a musician is Joan Armatrading. And she's from Australia, and she was like, I thought Joan Armatrading wasn't famous here. And I was like, I had MTV early on when they didn't have that many videos, and they showed like 3 different Joan Armatrading videos in the first year, and I liked her. So yeah. Was she great? Yeah, she's a really amazing artist.
She is. She's a full-fledged artist. She's really accomplished, very smart, really deep.
So
the whole thing.
You're going to finish this book now, and then shop it? Is it going to be like a coffee table kind of book? Do you have cool pictures?
No, it's more of a memoir / biography kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So we'll see. Yeah, just knock on wood. Yeah. It's been a long journey, so I don't really want to talk about it that much right now because it's not ready. So I'm like, I always feel like, people will be asking me about it, and then they're like, when's it coming out? It's like, I don't know. But hopefully in a 2-year period, I'm really hoping.
Well, you also have enough on your plate right now to keep you busy.
Yeah, we got enough. Yeah. We do. Yeah.
So your record, Pinky's Blues, drops on October 22nd, and this podcast will be coming out on the 8th. And people can see you next Friday here in Austin at Antone's, Friday, October 15th.
Fantastic. Yes.
Yeah. And of course, you're going to be on tour after that. You're doing what we said the dates earlier, but I'll say them again after we talk. But people can go to SueFoley.com to get the whole shebang. You guys really, really did an amazing job on this record. I love it.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I will tell Mike Flanigin that you said that. And he'll be so thrilled that you.
Please tell him I said hi. Yeah. And also everyone else, like Chris's drum tones. Can I ask you a nerd question right now, real quick, before you go? There's very few microphones on those drums.
Well, we had a lot of room mics.
Yeah.
So, Chris Bell, the engineer, he was mixing it up. I'm not sure what you're hearing at any one time, if it's close mics. Okay. I mean, he had a lot of drums on the, a lot of mics on the drums, but he had a lot of room mics too.
Yeah.
So there's all kinds of stuff that you're picking up.
He also, you can really tell, a guy like that has this sort of experience where his drums are tuned so well. That sounds weird to say, but they are.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
It seems like it's true. They just sound good.
Yeah.
And they sound big. It's
huge.
Hey, if you haven't checked out Mike's album West Texas Blues, did you hear that?
I did, yes, when it came out, but I'm going to put a link to that here too. Yeah, that's a phenomenal record.
You should talk to Mike because he'll have a lot of insight into all that.
You know what?
Paying more attention than me.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Mike. I'd love to have him on again. I feel like I haven't seen you guys in a long time. It's been a long time.
We haven't. It's been a couple of years. So, but you should talk to him because his album West Texas Blues is tremendous.
Yeah,
and right along the same lines as mine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Did you do it at the same place, the fire station?
Same studio.
Awesome.
We use Chris, except the only thing is with Mike's, he's playing organ, bass, and organ, so that's predominant, but it's really good songs and recorded really well.
Awesome. Well, Sue, congratulations and have a great time on tour and enjoy your next couple of weeks off before you take off. But
thanks,
it's been
Johnny.
great talking to you.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Hopefully we'll see you around town.
Yeah, definitely. Have a good one. Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Sue Foley, her album Pinky's Blues drops October 22nd. Get out there and see her this Friday in Austin, October 15th at Antone's, her record release party. Go to SueFoley.com, see if she's coming to a town near you. This album, Pinky's Blues, fantastic. You'll hear the rest of the song, Hurricane Girl, after I stop talking. You can also go check out the videos for Dallas Man and Southern Men. Okay, those singles are already out. Join her Patreon. Do what you can. Don't forget to check out swansongs.org. I want to thank Christine Albert for coming on the show. I want to thank Sue Foley for coming on the show. Two great women in Austin music. Fantastic people. And hey, gang, don't forget when you're out there checking out SueFoley.com or swansongs.org, check out our podcast at howdidigethere.podbean.com. You can find us on any of the streaming services, be it Spotify, Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, Overcast, Stitcher. New shows all the time. 3 shows this week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I'll be talking to jazz and pop. Actually, you know what? He's a pop R&B legend. Nat Adderley Jr. Yeah, he wrote a lot of songs for Luther Vandross, was his musical director for 20 years. Great conversation with him. All kinds of people on the show. Friday, I'll be talking to Elkie, an amazing artist who lives in Nashville, who was from New York. Amazing artist. Amazing. So, great week of shows. I want to thank Sue Foley for coming on the show. Check out her album, Pinky's Blues, out October 22nd. You'll hear the rest of the song, Hurricane Girl, by the time I finish talking. And don't forget to check out my friend, Christine Albert's nonprofit, Swan Songs. All right? Have a great week, whatever it is you're doing. I'll talk to you on Wednesday. Let's get down.
You knew the day you heard my